Hi everyone, welcome to my presentation, which is Neuroplasticity in Education, Empowering Speech Pathologists to Foster Lifelong Learning. And this is my take on becoming a neuroplastician and being a neuroplastician in the speech pathology context. I'm very excited to be here today with you. In this session, we're going to explore a concept that I believe can truly revolutionize the way we work as species. And that's all to do with neuroplasticity. I want to show you how we can shift from simply thinking of ourselves as clinicians to seeing ourselves as neuroplasticians, shaping our students' brains in ways that foster learning and growth and emotional resilience. So I hope you enjoy. Now, you might be wondering, what exactly does it mean to be a neuroplastician? As speech pathologists, our role is to support students in their communication development, helping them to thrive academically and socially. But did you know that by using the principles of neuroplasticity, we can actually help reshape the brain's ability to learn, grow, and develop? By understanding how the brain adapts, we can design techniques and strategies that actively promote cognitive and emotional growth. So the impact of learning experiences on our neuroplastic brain. At the heart of this concept is neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. This happens in response to learning new experiences or challenges. The beauty of this is that every time we introduce a new activity or task, we're helping our students' brains create new pathways. Whether they're learning new vocab, solving problems, or practicing motor skills, the brain forms new connections to accommodate these experiences. What's even more powerful is that the brain doesn't stop growing. Contrary to what many of us were taught in the past, our brains don't stop changing after a certain age. In fact, neuroplasticity is a lifelong process. This means we can continue to shape and improve neural networks throughout our lives. And for our students, this means that no matter their age or developmental stage, their brains are always capable of learning and adapting. Let me give you an example. Research shows that the more frequently we use a neural pathway, the stronger the connections become. On the flip side, pathways that we don't use begin to fade away. So when we constantly engage students in meaningful regular learning tasks, we're making sure their brain's connections stay strong and efficient. So that's why it's important to design intervention that involves regular intentional practice, whether that's learning new language skills or reinforcing social emotional growth. Understanding neuroplasticity in the classroom. Now let's take a closer look at how all this applies to the classroom. For years, it was believed that once we hit adulthood, our brains stop changing. But modern research has shown that this simply isn't true. Neuroplasticity is an ongoing process. This means that every time we engage with our students, we're influencing their brain development. This has a huge impact on how we should approach both learning and behaviour in the classroom. Contemporary research in psychology, education, and neuroscience. PEN. So what does the latest research say about neuroplasticity and how we can apply it to our work? Let's look at a few leading experts in psychology, education, and neuroscience. Carol Dweck's work on growth mindset has had a tremendous impact on how we understand learning and motivation. Dweck's research shows that students who believe their abilities can improve through effort, and those with a growth mindset are more likely to succeed. When students adopt a growth mindset, they are more open to challenges and are persistent in the face of difficulties. For us as educators and speech pathologists, fostering a growth mindset in our students is essential because it encourages brain plasticity and helps them persist through challenges. By embracing the idea that abilities can develop over time, we create an environment where learning is seen as an ongoing process and something that is not fixed. John Hattie's visible learning research shows us the power of feedback, active engagement, and self-regulation in the learning process. Hattie's synthesis of research highlights that when students are actively involved in learning, whether that's through self-reflection or meaningful feedback, they are engaging their brains in ways that promote neural development. In our work, this means we need to design interventions that don't just teach, but also engage students in applying and reflecting on their learning. This creates lasting, positive changes in their brain. Norman Doidge's work on neuroplasticity demonstrates the brain's ability to rewire itself even in the face of injury. His work shows us through proper training, patients can recover lost abilities after stroke or brain injuries. This concept can be applied to education by showing that no matter what the challenge, the brain is always capable of change. As speech pathologists, it's our job to harness the capacity for change, designing intervention that helps our students overcome communication challenges and thrive academically. Practical application for active learning and chunking. When we think about how to apply neuroplasticity to our teaching, we can focus on strategies like active learning and chunking. Active learning is when we get students involved in the learning process. Rather than simply having them sit and listen to you at the front of the class, whether it's through group discussions, role-playing activities, or real-world application, active engagement stimulates the brain and strengthens neural connections. When students actively practice what they're learning, they're more likely to retain it, making the experience more effective. Similarly, chunking, breaking information down into smaller digestible pieces, is another key technique. The brain processes information more efficiently when it's presented in small segments. So when we're teaching language concepts, for example, we can break them down into smaller steps and revisit them several times to ensure students fully understand before moving on. This approach helps students build a stronger, more durable understanding of the content being taught. Growth mindset, neuroplasticity, and emotional regulation. Let's talk a little bit more about growth mindset. As I mentioned earlier, having a growth mindset is integral to neuroplasticity. When students believe that their abilities can improve with effort, they're more motivated to continue learning. For us, this is crucial. In my own practice, I emphasize the power of the word yet. If a student is struggling, I don't focus on their failures. Instead, I say, you haven't mastered this yet, but you're getting closer every time. This shift in language helps to reinforce the idea that skills are not fixed and they can develop through persistence. Alongside growth mindset, we also need to prioritize emotional regulation. In the classroom, when students are anxious or stressed, their brains enter fight or flight mode, making it much harder for them to process new information. That's why I work hard to create a calm, safe environment for my students. Mindfulness practices, for example, can help students reduce stress and prepare their brains for learning. Simple mindfulness techniques before diving into a lesson can improve and focus and help students absorb information more effectively. Creating a safe and engaging learning environment. It's not just intellectual engagement that's important, it's also emotional safety. As Dr. Bruce Perry has shown, when students feel threatened, their brains can't function optimally. This is especially important in trauma-informed teaching. If a student have experienced trauma, their brains are wired to be hypervigilant, which can make it harder for them to learn. To counter this, I strive to create a classroom environment where students feel safe and supported. I make sure they know that they are valued no matter what challenges they may face outside of school. And by fostering a sense of belonging, we are supporting the neuroplasticity process because positive emotional experiences help strengthen the brain connection and make learning more effective. Harnessing neuroplasticity in education. So to wrap up, neuroplasticity is a powerful concept that can truly transform the way we teach and provide therapy. By understanding how the brain adapts and changes, we can design learning strategies that maximize our students' potential. By incorporating active learning, fostering a growth mindset, and creating emotionally supportive environments, we can tap into the brain's natural ability to change and grow. This not only helps students improve academically, but also enhances their communication skills and emotional resilience. I hope you leave here today with a deeper understanding of how neuroplasticity can guide your work and my work as a speech pathologist in education. By applying these principles, we can help students become better learners, more resilient individuals, and more equipped to navigate the challenges they face in life. and in turn, we are being great neuroplasticians. Thank you for listening.